For the last, 40 years or so, the relationship between people and computers has been pretty one-sided.
Oh, absolutely.
We had to learn their language. We had to learn how to double-click, swipe, find things in these little nested menus. But it feels like there's a shift happening now.
A big one.
The machine is finally, growing up enough to adapt to us. This podcast is brought to you by The Senior Techie, a source of information for seniors and others about technology.
And that adaptation is what the Senior Techie is calling voice-first computing. It's a fundamental flip. Instead of you having to use the screen or a keyboard, the technology uses an interface you've already mastered.
Your own voice.
Exactly. Natural speech. The thing we've all been using since we were kids.
Which, that changes the whole barrier to entry, doesn't it? The interface isn't something you have to study. The interface is just you.
Right. And the Senior Techie highlights that for older adults, this isn't just about convenience. It's really about bypassing some pretty significant physical limitations.
Yeah, think about the mechanics of using a smartphone.
Exactly. It needs fine motor skills, hands that are steady, sharp vision. If you're dealing with something like arthritis or tremors, a touchscreen can feel like a locked door.
Voice assistants they remove all that friction. But, okay, that usually means you have to buy a smart speaker, right? You have to set up an app, get it on the Wi-Fi. And that whole setup process is often where people, they just give up. Did Senior Techie look into that part?
This was probably the most surprising finding in their report. Get this. The Senior Techie found that you don't always need smart hardware in your home to get smart AI.
What do you mean?
There are some systems that work entirely through existing landlines.
You mean the old copper wire phone on the wall?
Precisely that.
Yeah.
You pick up the receiver, you dial a number, and you're connected to a cloud-based AI. The processing all happens somewhere else.
So the user doesn't need to worry about internet or updates or anything?
Nothing. It turns a piece of 100-year-old technology into a modern interface.
That is very clever. But let's be honest here. Voice recognition has historically been, frustrating. You kind of had to talk like a robot for it to get you.
That used to be true. It really did.
Yeah.
But the Senior Techie points to the rise of large language models, LLMs, as the game changer.
Okay.
See, older systems just listened for keywords. But LLMs, they understand context. They can handle accents, pauses, all the ums and us.
Which brings us to that Veloline project.
Right, the one at UC San Diego. It's a mouthful voice assistant for quality of life, and, you get it.
Yeah.
But the context-aware part is what's key.
Yeah.
The Senior Techie notes that Veloline is designed to understand the specific ways older adults speak. It actually learns a user's routine.
And that context awareness has a huge impact on safety. The Senior Techie talks about hands-free emergency calls, but I was really struck by the preventative side.
The lighting.
Yeah, the lighting.
It's a massive factor in falls, which often happen at night. You're disoriented, fumbling for a light switch, being able to just speak into the dark, turn on the lights before your feet even hit the floor. That's huge.
It's about staying independent for longer.
That's the goal. And it also tackles that quiet epidemic of isolation.
Right. If you have a system that actually understands you, it becomes a source of engagement, not just a tool.
And the data really backs that up.
Mm-hmm.
The Senior Techie found that these voice interfaces are reducing loneliness because they bridge what they call the inclusion gap.
For people who don't have high digital literacy.
Exactly. And the adoption is already there. As far back as 2020, they estimated 50% of all searches were happening by voice.
50%. Wow. So this really does blur the line. When a computer can chat with you, remember your medication schedule, and turn on the lights for you, the dynamic completely changes.
It does.
Yeah.
And it kind of leaves us with a provocative thought, doesn't it? If the computer listens and understands and responds with something that feels like empathy, does it stop being just a machine and start becoming something else?
A companion, maybe. Something to mull over.
This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to keep up with their newsletters, you can subscribe for free by going to theseniortechie.com.